Hi everybody, all my followers, welcome to another video. This video today is on a 2007 Kia Sedona, I think is how you pronounce it, and this is the diesel version. I believe this is the engine 2.2 or 2.5, something like that. Anyway, I scanned this car a couple of weeks ago because the car was going, or is going, into limp mode, and the guy was really on a rush at the time. I told him if he was on a rush to go elsewhere. I think he went elsewhere. They told him the high fuel pressure pump needs replacing. I don't know if he didn't like the quotation, if he didn't. I'm not really sure, guys. I just know the car is here now and we're gonna have a look at it. So I'm just gonna take you through the diagnostics I've done for this. Let's gonna go there because it should be on my vehicle history. That was last month, so it's gonna be here somewhere. Ah, there it is. That's the one. So that is the 2.9 diesel. So at the time the codes were these codes in the engine. The clutch pedal, I don't think that will cause a limp mode. Glow relay, it won't cause a limp mode. Vehicle speed sensor, not really sure about that one. The fuel rail pressure sensor circuit high input, that for sure will cause a limp mode. So let's just gonna diagnose the car again and see what we have in there. This car does have the diagnostics, the proprietary diagnostics port in the engine bay, but it communicates just fine through here, so I think it's pointless to use the other port. We can use the normal OBD port under the dash. So that last one, I'm pretty much sure is related to the fact that they dropped me the car this morning and I was not at home. When I went to move the car to my drive, it didn't start, battery was completely flat, so I had to jump start it. So I'm sure that's what it is. But my codes are the two codes at the top. That the speed one is not even here now, so I believe those two at the top is the ones that are causing my limp mode. P0087, P0088, one for low input, one for high input. Now, the low input, it could be because of the low battery as well, so so I don't know. I think what I'm gonna do really is just clear these codes, go for a drive and see what exactly is going to come back. I believe it's going to be the P0088. I think that low input, it might be to do with when I was trying to crank the engine with a low battery, which possibly will tell me the pressure was not high enough because of the low engine rotation, or it might be that is actually I'm not sure if this will be telling me that the fuel rail pressure is too high on the P0088 and is too low on the P0087, or if he's actually telling me that there is an electrical fault. Let's kind of clear this, go for a drive, and we'll go from there. Okay, clear the codes. The only code that can back is that I'm not bothered with that, so let's gonna road test this. Okay, so where are we? We have an engine light. The car doesn't really go in limp mode. I mean, I'm just carry on driving and it drives fine. He revs okay above the the 3000 RPMs, any rev range really. It revs absolutely fine. It's not really in limp mode, but I've recorded some live data, and here was when my engine light came on. And what I wanted to look at is that my blue line is the measured fuel rail pressure. The green light is what the ECU is expecting to see. And look what happened here. Engine ECU was requesting all this. My pressure was here. And when I took my foot off the pedal, I believe it was, look, the pressure just went bang. And then it followed again. If I go back, it's been pretty much following okay all the time. There is another instance in there where it's not very good as well. And then if I go back, that's it. It's all I've recorded. There as well, where the pressure was lower than the requested. I can't do that, can I? That would be brilliant. But yeah, that is no good. Now, another thing that I'm going to try to record, and obviously just let's gonna go back, just curiosity. I can't do that, hang on. And there we go. My fuel rail pressure sensor circuit lie low and high inputs. Actually, both codes came back on. I was saying I was more likely to see only the 88, but I know they both came back on. So, which actually makes sense, because at some point it's higher than what it should be, and then at some other point is lower than what it should be. So this to me is not, it is actually showing the pressure. It's about the pressure. Obviously, it's not telling me there's a high voltage, but it is a high voltage, but it's not for the electrical, it's for the reading, of the fuel rail pressure. So I'm gonna try to see, I don't think, let me try to set up the phone, see if I can show you what the car does when you rev it a little bit harder. I'm gonna delete the faults anyway. Actually, I'm gonna leave it. The car runs absolutely fine anyway. So let's gonna try that. I do apologize if this is not the best setup. I didn't delete the codes. I'm just gonna start to drive the car, and I'm gonna want to try to see if you can hear what the car does when I rev it. So I'm on second gear now. I'm gonna rev it really high, and then I'm gonna take my foot off. Have you heard that? I don't know if it comes on a phone. Third gear now. I don't know if it's just something loose on the... Oh, it's actually in limp mode now. It doesn't rev above 3000. So it revs okay above 3000 on second gear. Let me try on this next stretch. It looks like it revs okay above 3000 on second gear, but then it doesn't do the same on third. Actually, it's in limp mode now. It's not even revving above 3000. It was revving fine when I took off from there. It had 3000 RPMs. Right, it's a little bit weird. Earlier, and as you probably just seen when I took off earlier, on second gear he revved until about 4000, and then he just came back. Okay, so it's a kind of although it's like a rattling noise, I'm not sure if it's something loose on the firewall area or if it's a mechanical issue. I'm gonna drive on these back roads and try to do this a couple more times, see if I can understand if it's a mechanical issue or if it's just something loose in the engine bay that is provoking this noise. So I'm gonna carry on driving. There's no point for you guys to be here seeing whatever you are seeing at the moment. So we're gonna do that and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, just go back home. The engine light is on again, obviously. The limp mode thing is a little bit weird. When the light first kicks in, it doesn't go into limp mode. Then like a few seconds later, you try to rev it up and it doesn't go above 3000. So the limp mode kicks in, or safe mode, whatever you want to call it. And then it kicks in. Then if I drive below the 3000 for a couple minutes, it then allows you to rev again, and it's a little bit weird. But anyway, the limp mode is there every now and then. I can feel it. I can see that it doesn't rev. I've done some more. Is the seatbelt warning? I've done some more live data recordings just before we go. Obviously, I delete the codes before I left in there. Same codes. So that noise it looks to me something that is loose in there, that is rattling. It doesn't feel like it is something on the engine itself, but you never know. Let's just gonna come back here. So I did some recordings again. I've added a few more beats this time. What have I done? So it's gonna go back. So it does that all the time. When you look in there, look. So I've started to drive pretty much from standstill, and it does that. The car. So green line. Sorry guys, I wasn't even showing you the screen. Bloody hell. So the green line is my target. The blue line is what the ECU is reading. And look at that. It asks for that straight away as I take off. That was my putting my foot down. And look at that. It doesn't build the pressure. And then obviously I kept my foot down, asking for all this pressure. And when he actually reaches the pressure, I took my foot off to put third gear on again, and look how much it drops straight away. Can you see that? How much he actually drops that quick. And it takes ages to build the pressure. The pressure is, if you drive slowly, the pressure kind of follows, as you can see. But as soon as you request like pressure quick, it doesn't do it. But you see, it follows fine in there. Then in there, when I actually don't want pressure, it just carry on building. So I think I'm not really sure where to start. I'm not really sure where to start, but I think the first thing I'm gonna do would be interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have one. It would be interesting to have some sort of, to have a gauge that I could actually compare the real reading with that, but I don't have that facility. I think I'm going to take the engine cover, have a look, and I don't know, I will might start with check injectors maybe, When you look at live date on the injectors, you're going to see that there is what is that? So as you can see in there, the correction, they're all the same. I don't even know if this applies to this engine. As you can see, they're all on -1. Let's gonna check, because there's no point to be here doing what we're doing. Just look at this at the moment. Let's gonna take that cover off and have a better look. It's gonna get our hands dirty. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is measure this fuel sensor, the rail pressure sensor. I don't think there's going to be nothing wrong with it, but we're going to measure it. Okay, so we have a ground, we're going to have a 5-volt reference, and we're going to have ignition on, engine off. We're going to have 0.5 volts on one of the wires. Okay, so that's my voltage reference, 5 volts. Let's going to assume the black one is going to be the ground, which leaves us that one 0.5 volts. So that's fine. I do apologize for my voice, guys. I've been shouting at work and I'm a little bit with a sore throat. Anyway, so we have my so we have the 5 volts, we have the 0.5 volts feedback from the sensor with the ignition on. Let me start the engine, see what voltage we do have. And as you have seen, I have a volt with the engine idling. That doesn't really tell me a lot. It just tells me that the sensor, obviously, it changed from 0.5 to 1 volt, so it's switching. Switching is reading, but we know it's reading because we've seen the readings. I doubt it's going to be the sensor. I have a feeling it's not going to be the sensor that is reading slow or anything like that. I think it's going to be actually the fuel itself. Let's kind of dig a little bit more. Okay, so I've pulled this fuel filter assembly out. There is a kind of electric valve here, or it looks like a valve. I don't think it's a heater here. It looks just like a valve to me. So we could have a valve that is restricting the fuel flow, or we could have a bad sensor, a bad fuel filter. It could be blocked, restricting the amount of fuel. There's nothing written on these that will tell me the production date, so I could try to figure out when it was fitted, but judging by the amount of rust, it doesn't look like it's a new filter. So I think I'm going to start by replace the filter, and while I have everything out, obviously I'm going to check this valve, make sure it's not restricting the flow. But let's kind of start with the basics. Like I said many times on my videos, let's kind of replace this filter and see if we have any improvements. Guys, I need to show you this. This is the fuel coming out from inside my fuel filter. Look at this. And guys, so you don't think this little tray that I've just cut from there, so you don't think that was dirty already. I was putting it in here because I want to see if was any metal swarfs on the fuel, and this is what it starts to come out. Let me show you. Let me try to place the phone because I wanted to actually see as the fuel comes out. Don't know if I'm gonna have some room for some more. Look, can you see? The fuel is so dirty. I can't really see swarfs on it. I mean, I can see now looks one in there, very, very small. But this fuel is absolutely so dirty. Although I was pouring this out from the pipe, from the inlet port, so obviously is where it's going to filter. But even then, if this is what is coming out, I imagine what is actually in the filter. I just removed that from the bottom of the fuel filter, which looks like the temperature sensor. Look at that. Look at that. We're definitely going to replace this, and we'll see what happens. I left the fuel to settle here, and I can actually see small swarfs. Actually, I don't know if the phone is capturing them. One there, one there. Maybe if I change, yeah, you see them right there shining. There is a few more really, really tiny that the phone is not actually capturing, but another one in there. I can see them. There is swarfs on this fuel. Nothing major though, but there is, and that's never a good sign. But we're gonna fit the new fuel filter, and we'll see what happens. New filter in place, and let's gonna see if it starts okay. I've primed the system on that hand pump on the side. There's one of those manual pumps in there, so it's gonna see what happens. See if it runs fine. Yeah, there we go. Let me prime that a little bit more. So I'm gonna prime and crank until I get it running. Okay, just went for a drive test, for a road test, and the codes are coming back. But there is one thing that I've done while I was out, and I want to repeat it here. And I want to, well, I've done it twice, and twice he did the same. And I want to do it here so you can see. So I've deleted the codes on the ECU. Okay, so there's no lights, nothing now, as you're going to see. The only code we have now is for the glow plug malfunction. Forget about that. But if I go here and I do this test, so basically it pushes the acceleration up to 100, so it requests full pressure, and basically what the machine is doing, or what the program is doing, is requesting full pressure and then drop it down to the idling pressure again. So as you can see, the light came back on the first or second rev. I think it's on the first or second time the machine does that, the light comes on. And problem detected. But what I want you to see now is this. It shuts off. Don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. And if I go there now, on the codes, it's going to have only one code, and it's going to be for low input. The other one doesn't come up. Well, I don't know what to do next. I mean, I know what to do next. I just don't know if I want to waste time with this. Because now I'm just thinking about the swarfs I saw in the fuel. It might be a bad pump. It might be injectors. I'm going to see how easy it is to do a leak back test. I don't have one of those kits yet. But I'm going to see if I can do one and see what it looks like on injectors. But yeah. The filter, definitely, we diagnosed the bad filter. That was disgusting. But obviously there is more to it than just the filter. Okay, I have everything set up to do a backlight test. Actually, I start the engine. I run the engine for 5 seconds. And I just stopped it because I wanted to see what I have to show you. So because the engine is going to be running, I'm going to start the engine. And I'm going to show you something in there. It's gonna do it. Look at that one. And this third one as well. Only one. That's now leaking back. Have you seen that? With just a constant flow. Just a constant flow. So, I might be wrong, but I think we have diagnosed that problem. Our problem is the injectors. Mainly, well, one looks good. The other three, I would say they're gone. And that, I think, is what is happening. I'm going to ring the guy and tell him. And it will be up to him now if he's going to bring me the injectors or not. Well, we'll see. Just one last look before we move on. So here you can see the comparison between the good injector, which is number 1, the dahlia being there, and the bad one. And the other two, they are not much better, look. This was the filter. I've cut it out just to see if there's any more debris inside, but I can't really see nothing, or if there is, they are really small. And I already have the go-ahead, so I'm going to remove these injectors, and fingers crossed they're going to come out okay. I don't feel that I need to take you through the removal of the injectors, but I just quick take you through. So you take the electrical plugs, you just press these two wires here, and you pull it back. So we're gonna take the loom out. Then you have that Allen bolt in there that holds the clamp. We're gonna take the high pressure lines. Once you take the clamp, hopefully the injector will just slide out. Simply as that. A quick tip that I forgot, well, I never thought about it until I started to do this. Hold the head of the injector, okay, when you are releasing and tighten the high pressure hose. All you need to do really is just a 15 mil. Just put it on the top of the head. It's gonna have to be like that. And just support the injector, because last thing you want is, as you twist this, force the injector and snap the injector, or okay, just support the injector and that's all. Okay, and all the injectors are out. I took all the injectors on a day. This is like 5 days later, but so they're all out. So once you have everything removed, they can stuck a little bit. What I've done to pull them out, if you don't have a puller, which I don't have either, you just screw one of these pipes back on like that, and then you can obviously, don't twist the pipe, but you can obviously force it. You can use these as a sort of a handle to pull them out. I don't have a injector puller either, so I have the new injectors. Here they are. They are used. I've been told they are good used injectors, so fingers crossed they are in good condition. And we're just gonna obviously put them back on, replace the washers. I have brand new washers in there, so new washers on it. Someone put a metal washer on this one. It's not very, very smart. Anyway, I'm gonna put it back and put everything back on, start the engine and go for a test drive. So I'm not going to take you through the put it back on or anything like that. It's not rocket science. Just before that, don't forget we need to coat these injectors back on. Well, not these ones, those in there. They're going to have to be coated. The code you need in this case is a 20-digit code right here at the top. If you can see here, right here. This is the code you're going to need. Okay. Just one thing worth to mention, the torque on these clamps is about 25 Newton meters, give or take around there. That should be fine. Okay guys, everything is back in place. I haven't put the return. I have my kit connected because once I start the engine, I want to do a backlight test on these new injectors. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to code the injectors. So I'm already on the main menu on the ECU, and we go to special functions, injector data, and you can pick up the one you want to change. Number 1, we haven't touched number 1. I want to do number 2. So injector number 2. I have it down here, as you can see. I put them in and then I've just wrote at the front the position of each one. So number 2 is this top one, okay? So I'm going to put the data, then we're going to obviously save, go back to the next one, then the next one, and so forth, okay? And we're going to code the injectors. Okay, everything is back in place. I got the car running, did a backlight test on the new injectors. I could have showed you, but I think I poured the fuel. Yeah, I did. I poured the fuel away already. But they are good. And the next thing, as you're gonna see that the car even starts better. Look, if you go back at the beginning of the video and you can compare, see straight away. So it's much better. And just before we go for a drive test or a road test, I just want to do this test. If you remember, the car failed on the last one, above 65. I'm sure he's above 65. Let's gonna have a quick look, but I'm pretty sure he is, because I have the car. Yeah, 72, so it's fine. So we can do that test. So I'm just gonna run this test and see if he passes. If you remember, he used to fail. I've done one and he failed. So let's gonna do it and see what happens. And there we go. He passed. So it's okay on this test. He just finished the test, and as you can see, if you remember before, the car would shut down after a few seconds. As you can see now, it's running just fine. So yeah, so I'm just gonna wait for something for the missus to come back, and we'll go for a road test. Guys, I just got here to these back roads again. I'm gonna pull the car. And as you can see, there's no lights. Sorry guys, there's a car coming. Nice radio, huh? And what I'm gonna do, as you can see, I'm gonna press the pedal again, and you're gonna see that it follows absolutely perfect. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do the same as I've done last time. I'm gonna, because I'm just driving on the same gear all the time, but I'm gonna put a few gears up and down, and then I'm gonna make those pressures really have to work up and down, and we're gonna see if it follows. But I've been driving, there's no engine lights, no nothing, the car is driving absolutely fine. But then I'll do that, and then we'll have a quick look at the live data, and that's it. The problem seems to be fixed. And okay, I did what I just said, and as you can still see, there's no lights, no nothing. And I wanted to look at this live data now, and I just want you, so the blue line is going to be my, come on, better like this perhaps. No, not really. Damn it. See if I find a better position to show you this. Aha, there it is. Okay, so as you can see, my blue line is going to be my rail pressure, the measured pressure. The green line is going to be the target, is going to be what the ECU is asking for. I'm not going to go to this, I'm just going to go like that. Look at that. As you can see, he went all the way to about 1500. And as you can see there, for example, I let him come down to below 800, probably about 700 or so, and I put my foot down, and look at that, and it follows straight away. The same in there, even more here, as you can see, bang, right at the top. So it's following, look at that. Look, if I put, you're gonna see that when I take zoom on this and I run this, let me see where it is. So there we go, you can see follows the line absolutely perfect. Okay, so that was our problem, was 3 injectors, and yeah, and the guy was quoted for a new, or for a high pressure pump. Well, 3 injectors. I hope problem is fixed. I'm just gonna deliver the car. I just hope there's some information here, guys, you can take it further, and he might be able to help you to diagnose or to carry on a job like this. I really hope it helps you. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do have any questions, any comments, you know, put them below. And like always, thank you for watching.